The video will be about how to put your flute together and how to take it apart. Before we put our flute together, we of course need to open our case first. As you can see, my flute case here has the logo facing up. So yours might say Jupiter, yours might say Bundy. That's your instrument brand name. So make sure that logo is facing up to the ceiling. The handle of the case here, which is how you transport your instrument, the handle is facing me. So take a moment before you open your case to make sure the logo is facing up and the handle is facing you. There should be 1 or 2 latches on your case. There might even be 3. You will open these latches nice and slowly, like this. Voila. And it is open. Make sure that when you open your case, you are not opening it on a chair or on a couch, because that's not a very steady, safe surface. So always open up your instrument on the floor. That is the safest surface to open your instrument. I have 3 parts of my flute in here. The first part is the head joint. It's the one with the hole. Then we have the middle joint, which has the keys. And then the last part is the foot joint. And it's the smallest part. You'll also notice you might have a cleaning rod in your flute. That's not a part of the flute. That's just something that you would need to clean your flute out when you're taking care of it. So let's get started with putting together our flute. This is the head joint here, as we mentioned earlier. And this is the embouchure plate. This is the embouchure hole. And this is the tuning cork at the end. The head joint connects with the middle joint. The middle joint is the longest part of the flute. And notice that we have all these keys. You also have a few keys here, the other side of the middle joint. There are 2 rings, or there should be a longer part of your flute that doesn't have many keys. This part is what connects to the head joint here. You'll place the head joint by connecting the embouchure hole with all these keys, having a big party. Voila. So if you were to put the embouchure hole with the tiny party of keys, it is not correct, and the embouchure hole will be wanting to join the big party. So we'll just make sure that it is with the party of keys. Next is the foot joint. The foot joint has an E flat key here and just a couple of keys. Notice how the foot joint has one part where there are not any keys, and how this part does have keys. You'll also see that there is a tiny little ball at the end of this key. That little ball is going to connect to the middle joint, but we are not going to connect it to this little ball here. We're actually going to connect it to the little tiny keys in between the keys. So little ball, little keys, little ball, little keys. And voila, you have your flute all put together. Let's take it apart. You can start with either the head joint or the foot joint. I like to start it with the foot joint. So you take off the foot joint and find the smallest groove in your case, and you'll see that there's a bigger part for the keys here to go into the case. Next, we put away our middle joint. and you'll see that there's a little hockey stick here, a hockey stick-like key. There should be a little indent in the longest hole of your case, which will fit this hockey stick. So you'll connect that indent and place it back in the case. Last but not least, here we have the head joint and we have the embouchure plate. There should be a little groove where the embouchure plate will fit. That is the second longest hole in the case. So now my flute is back in the case. I'm closing the case, closing the latches, and then I can be on my merry way with holding it by the handle. Thank you for watching.